Studio, particularly the end of that match, Liverpool-Arsenal. It's going to be difficult to sleep tonight. The adrenaline is still pumping. Probably more so for someone like Emmanuel Petit and Dirk Kuyt here. Arsenal, Liverpool, and Gary getting his prediction right yet again. Yeah. You're a magician at this, Gary.
I've been on a bit of a run, yeah.
You have been.
I'm not sure how long it will last.
Well, it's not Who cares? Who cares? As long as we get entertained, as long as we get goals. But Manu...
I watched the game 2 against 1.
2 against 1 here.
No, he was for the draw because he's a Spurs fan.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Were Arsenal lucky by the end? Do you think they were lucky to walk away with a point?
Yes, I think so, yeah. I think they deserved to lead the score. The first half, they were far much the best team, you know, on the first half, but in the second half. And if I am Klopp, you know, I would be disappointed with the first 30 minutes of the game. They should have started the game the way they did in the second half. You know, take the game by the neck, and they come back. You know, losing 2-0 at home in this kind of game, you need character, you know, temper, you know, to come back, and you need unity as well. And this is exactly what Liverpool showed in the second half. And I think Arsenal were lucky to leave the stadium with 1 point, because I think with all the occasion, the penalty miss from Salah as well. So the last occasion with Konate, I can't remember how many saves Ramsdale did the last 15 minutes of the game. So I think, yeah, we can say that we've been a little bit lucky, yeah.
We're going to hear from Ramsdale in just a moment, but I'm going to put it here. Man of the match.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. He had also the one-on-one against Nunez, who should have scored. And then there was also the save on Mo Salah, a brilliant save. Yeah, he was playing the perfect.
And then
game.
right at the end, you know, when he keeps Konate's effort out. Konate should score, I think. He puts his head to it rather than his chest. Yeah. But even so, the keeper's kept it out. Ramsdale was fantastic.
Yeah, the way he flew across the goal. I mean, very few keepers could do something like that. You know what? As promised, let's go once again to Anfield to hear what the Arsenal goalkeeper made of his performance and the game overall. His and Ramsdale.
Yes, sir. Aaron, you're under massive pressure at the end there. Does that feel like a point saved or 2 points dropped?
Bit of both. We managed to dig in at the end, but you know, we had some good chances and we come to Anfield and played really well, but had to survive as well. So I think right now it will be mixed emotions, but I think over the next few days it will definitely be a very good point.
Even in the context of the title, does it not feel like 2 points dropped? You led for over an hour.
Yeah, maybe, but I've just walked off the pitch and we've just been under pressure for 32 minutes, 35 minutes, whatever it was, and we've managed to get a point away at Anfield, and they're a top side, crowd get right behind them, so it might be 2 points dropped, but we could have dropped all of them as well at the same time.
It was relentless, the pressure, but you made several magnificent saves, particularly the one from Salah, which got a nick as well on the way through. Yeah,
that's what I'm there to do, and I've enjoyed playing today. You know, there's no better games to be playing in than these, which means so much for both teams. And unfortunately, we couldn't get the 3 points, but at least my saves have helped us out.
How much did you feel as well that your side acquitted themselves mentally? Because you knew about the record before you came here today.
Yeah, I thought we were excellent. I don't think we showed anything about sort of previous games against them. I think the last time we came here in the Carabao Cup, we drew 0-0. So we have had some sort of performances here, but yeah, I think for 50 minutes, 60 minutes, I thought we were very good, and then I thought we defended really well, but got unlocked by 2 goals.
Ultimately, will only time tell what this point means today?
Absolutely. Now we've got to just go back in and work hard every day and build again. But 1 point is a lot better than none, and it's another point on the board, and we'll see where we go from there.
And is it hugely important as well that mentally you see the positivity in the point rather than the 2 points gone? Absolutely,
and that's what the manager will be saying. The manager's hugely positive, and you know, we'll come here, we'll digest it over the next few days, and we'll definitely be showing all the good stuff which we did in the first half to get 2-0 up.
Well, you played your part. You were the player of the match, Aaron. Well played today.
Cheers, Jeff. Thanks, man.
Cheers, Pat.
3 days later, I think it was in the Cup, and then we had to play against them in the Premier League or the opposite, I can't remember. And we trashed them 4-0 as well, because we were so shameful about our performance and the way we had to react as a team, but individuals as well. And mentally, it was a complete opposite in space of 3 days.
It just lit the fire, basically.
Yeah, sometimes you need extra motivation. You hurt, you know, your feelings, you're ashamed, you don't want to go out because you lost a big game, you were ashamed on the pitch or things like this, you know. It transforms everything, you know. It's not the same people, you know, that comes out the following day, you know, in the morning at the training session, you see in people's eyes, they don't look the same way, and it's completely different.
Yeah. Understood. Let's go back to the early stages of the game. Really, it seems like a long time ago, but Martinelli did score, I can promise you this, in the opening 10 minutes, around the 8th minute, if I'm going to be a little bit more precise on that. Can I ask, what's Van Dijk doing here?
Well, it starts with Robertson, who makes the mistake here. And there... If you can it go back? Because he had to clear the ball. But I think he was doubting because there were 2 free Arsenal players on the other side. So I think in his mind he thought, ooh, where do I nick the ball? And he was doubting too much, and then he gave it to the other player. But you see 2 other Arsenal players on the other side, on the left side. He gets the ball here. If he clears it there, the other player is free as well.
I think it comes to Van Dijk really quickly. And in that situation as a defender, you know, you try to get a clearance in and he actually doesn't really have enough time to adjust his feet and get a good clearance in. And it breaks to Arsenal and they're hunting it down as a pack. And, you know, even here, Martinelli does brilliantly just to toe end it away from Robertson and past the keeper and into the back of the net. I think you have to give a fair amount of credit to Arsenal as well for their desire, and you know, it was a scruffy goal.
The movement of the ball as well, the running.
Yeah. But from Liverpool's perspective, I think they'll say we haven't defended well collectively or individually.
I think Van Dijk doesn't look well, Robertson doesn't look well, and it's also with the 3 front players who are not pressing because that ball came too easy. So it's all about doing the things you normally do.
On this action, for a defender, it's always very difficult to defend when you run towards your own goal. You lost position, you don't know where you are your teammates, and you lost everything, you know. You are not concentrating anymore. You're just focused on the ball.
What about his role in the second one? In the second goal, Jesus, because Konaté's gone out wide. He's gone effectively to go and cover Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's still tracking back. We can question that as well.
For me, mistake, obviously. You can see Trent Alexander-Arnold, you know, he's not concentrate on the Martinelli runs. But
is he marking space, Van Dijk?
I used to play central defender and as well holding midfielder. For me, the holding midfielder, when you see that, the first thing you have to do is to protect the axis, you know. You have to come back and to replace, you know, Konaté, who's been out wide, you know, on the right-hand side. And you can see Fabinho is quite alone. He sees that. He should have made the run inside and to cover, you know, the axis.
But what I would say about Van Dijk is that once that ball has gone wide, I didn't see Van Dijk at any stage glance over his shoulder and see where an opponent, and in this situation it's Jesus, exactly where he was. The first time he looks over his shoulder is as the ball goes past him, and then he sees Jesus there, and he knows that it's too late. He can't do anything about it. That's my feeling, Dirk.
Yeah, no, then you get exposed. But it starts again from the pass, what is given to the wing, where Trent didn't look good. But there was no pressure. The team was not ready.
Sure.
And then the shape gets too big. And in my opinion, Virgil should, you know, defend the attacker.
It looks like he's watching space.
No, he's defending the space. He's gambling in this case. He thinks, oh, if the ball comes just in front of me, I can clear it, and it's a good defense. But in this case, if you're alone as one defender and you
keep your man.
Yeah, you keep your man.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think, people talking. Goalkeeper is not talking.
No communication.
Yeah, Andy Robertson is not talking. Firmino is not coming back. So it has something to do with the team. Because the second half, you said it, Virgil van Dijk was losing challenges in the air, was not comfortable on the ball. The second half, he's winning challenges, he plays well, he goes forward.
Is he still world-class? Do you still consider him a world-class defender?
Yes, of course, yeah.
He
doesn't disappear like this, you know, all of a sudden. Yeah, I think confidence as well takes a huge part as well on the performance. So I'm pretty sure he'll be back at his best level. definitely.
The point is, if you watching the first half and you analyze Virgil van Dijk's performance, you can doubt it. But if you watch the second half, he's still a world-class defender. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you know, he's gone through a difficult period as an individual defender, but so have all his team. And
I think it has more to do with the team than with the individual performances.
Yeah.
I think a lot has to do with Van Basten's comments saying his ego going to collect like
it's
the best 11 and
everyone's
stuff, you know?
ego. You know, if you see Trent the first half, he was not playing well, and you see his aggressiveness the second half, he's still, you know, a world-class player,
You know,
because he's playing on the half of the opponent.
It's very hard to be at the top, but it's harder to stay at the top.
And the point is, a very small detail can change everything. It's just what you said.
Yeah. All right. We talked a lot about Trent Alexander-Arnold, perhaps in a negative light, although a little bit in the attacking sense. We're going to look at Liverpool's goals in just a moment. But first, let's go back once again, this time to hear from the man himself, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Trent, it was an absolute thunderous game of football. Talk us through it from a player's point of view.
It's intense. No, very, very good game of football. I think both sides played great football at times. We never started the way we wanted to. Going 2 behind at home is never good. But we showed character, got into the game. Obviously had the late equaliser and had a huge chance at the end to go and win it. But no, take the point. But we knew it could have been 3.
What was missing in that first part of the game?
Probably just a little bit of confidence to play. Lacked the intensity that we wanted to. Not compact enough as a team. So yeah, there was a couple of things, but I think towards the end of the first half we started to play the way we wanted to, and then second half we definitely did. I think we had the better than the whole second half, and limited their chances, and I could have scored a couple of goals. So you know, against a team like that, you get punished for not starting a game quickly enough, and that's what happened today.
How much do you think the catalyst for you getting going was the coming together between you and Granit Xhaka, which seemed to lift the crowd? Is that the case? And I see you smiling there. Is that what then lifted the players?
I think a little bit of fire in a game like that. There's nothing wrong with it. I think that shows the intensity and how both teams want to win. I think he's obviously ran into me, nudged me off the ball, and you know, it's a natural reaction to then obviously go and do it back. And yeah, we could have got the crowd going, but then we matched it with the football and the intensity as well. So it worked hand in hand. And like I said, the last 5-10 minutes in the first half, we were all over them, and we came out and done the same second half.
What was it like for you today? Because one of the goals came from down your side, and also you had a big hand in the equaliser.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the goals have to come down one of the sides or through the middle. So that's the way football works. You know, you're against a quality player, Martinelli, and their attacking lines, quality all over at a team full of quality. So you know, they're bound to be threats, and you know, they've got the goal. But yeah, we stayed in the game, and we tried to put as much pressure on that, especially late on in the second half. Missed the pen as well. No, I even forgot about that. That was a big moment, but like I said, stayed in it, and got it late on, and it's just the fight that we have, really.
What does today give you more than the point itself?
Well, they're run away leaders in the league with not too many games left, so shows they're one or two of the best teams in the league, them and City. So the point we want every game we want to go and get 3 points. Disappointed somewhat to not get it. To not get it today, but there's lessons in there that we can play and have beliefs to play against a quality side like Arsenal. So giving them 2 good games, we gave them a hell of a game down at the Emirates, and here again. So we've shown on numerous occasions we can go toe to toe with the best in the league.
Thanks, Trent.
Thank you.
Many thanks there to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Let's talk about Liverpool's comeback into this game. Crucial goal just moments before the half-time whistle through Mo Salah, who had a frustrating game. We'll look at his missed penalty later, and we saw some of his missed chances, but he did find his name on the score sheet. Manu, like you rightly said, it just seemed to spur them on. That little fight he had with Granit Xhaka, and it was so smooth the way Curtis Jones backheels it to, was it Jota, Jota to Henderson, and then his touch across goal to Salah.
He tried to shoot Henderson, you know, when Jota crossed the ball.
It was Jones.
Jones, here.
But then Jota, you know, he give the ball to Jota and then cross the ball, and I think Henderson tried to score, but he missed the ball and deflected the ball, and I think Salah was on a good position at the right moment.
But it's you know, it's good movement, isn't it, from Liverpool?
Yes.
It's positive movement. You know, you've got an overlapping runner, you've got numbers in the area. Look, they've got almost 6 players in the area as it crosses the line.
It was one of the first moments you see Liverpool players moving forward. A midfielder in the box, Salah is going forward, Jota is there, Jones was in the box. That changed the game.
Yeah, and it headed into the break with the crowd literally at a fever pitch. And this is where it gets interesting, the second half. Firstly, decision for the penalty, correct or not?
In my opinion, 100% correct.
100%.
Yes.
You agree as well?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
What was your reaction when it was given?
It was not intentional from Holding, but I think he did touch, you know, Jota.
I think there's no choice for the officials to make other than give a penalty.
Clear.
Yeah, clear cut. I don't think anybody from Arsenal particularly complained.
It is unlucky, but you should think when you are in the box and you're chasing you know, your opponent, you always have to be careful.
Yeah.
I ask this because it's a weekend of strange decisions. But anyway, sorry, Gary.
You know, the truth
this
is
wasn't one.
No, it's not strange. You know, Jota has his body between the ball and the opponent.
He's intelligent to do that.
Just keep him in front.
And Holding makes contact with him, and it's a penalty, which
Was a poor penalty, you would argue.
yes, shocker.
He missed one against Bournemouth, no?
Correct, yeah. Quite recently.
Yeah.
And it'll be ruining his chances there. In the grand scheme of things, they could have gone on to win the match, of course. But Ramsdale trying to play the mind games there. Did you see that? He walked out of the box, got a yellow and came back in.
They both had a mind game. The goalkeeper, but also Henderson was pretending he was taking the penalty just to take the pressure off Mo Salah, but unfortunately he didn't win it.
I think you've seen the game yesterday with Newcastle, no?
Yeah. They look to each other. They're clever.
How nerve-wracking is it in a game to step up and take a penalty? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but who scored the latest goal in a Liverpool-Arsenal match in the Premier League?
Him.
It was him. It was you. It was a penalty as well.
A penalty is
It was offside, no? Right?
No, it was definitely a penalty.
Definitely.
I think Lucas Leiva, he got it. But it's obviously different than the game, because in the game you're always in movement and things go quickly. But actually with a penalty you have time to think. And
Maybe too much time.
Yeah, sometimes too much time, and there was a lot of time now. So what I always did is just focus on your job. Just choose a corner and nick it in, and many times it goes well, as with Mo Salah. But once you miss one, sometimes you miss another, and unfortunately I missed a penalty against Arsenal as well in my career.
Oh,
it's
not many, but there are
big comments, you know, recently in France, especially after the World Cup, because many people were saying, especially former players, were saying that you have almost 90% of scoring a penalty if you train often on a training session. Me, I said it's half-half, because you don't get the emotions, the pressure, the tiredness, you know, during the game. You're under pressure, you don't know the emotion. It's very hard sometimes to control when you kick a penalty in front of the full stadium and with the big pressure of the game. So I don't know what you think about it, but
you cannot train it. You cannot train the adrenaline, the moment of the game. Is it the first minute? Is it in extra time? Are you tired or are you fresh? What is the goalkeeper doing? So you prepare as good as possible. And back in the days,
I think sometimes it's lottery penalty. And in France, they were saying no, you cannot say it's lottery because you have to prepare it at the training session. But training session is not the same when you play competitive games.
Definitely not the same.
Yeah. For me, the only difference is what's going on in your
mind.
Head. Yeah. So on the training park, you know that whether you tuck it in the corner or you miss, it doesn't matter. In a game, it does. And so how well can you control your thought process? For me, so it's not, you practice the technique and the skill in training, you know, and then you select that skill in the game. Now it's about letting nothing else come into your mind other than your run-up, your technique, and where you finish.
There are so many things what can happen during that time. You know, a goalkeeper can come to you. A goalkeeper can hold the ball. Somebody behind you can say something to you.
So again, it's how you deal with that,
yeah,
isn't
but you
it?
analyze the goalkeeper. You know, sometimes he stands in the middle, he doesn't dive, the other one goes high, the other one goes low. So there's always a change. So you just have to have a feeling for it. So sometimes you have strikers who score a lot of goals and people say, oh, he's scoring easy goals. So why not every striker is scoring easy goals? And you have the same with penalty takers. There are a few penalty takers who score a lot of goals, and others who have a great kick. Most of them have a great free kick, but they can, yeah.
But when you scored that penalty that Adam referred to, I bet you didn't change your mind from the minute the penalty was awarded to the second you struck it. You had in your mind exactly how you were going to finish that.
I knew what I was going to do, but there was a lot going on.
But you didn't change your mind, did you?
2-3 minutes, but everyone trying to change my mind.
Yeah.
So, but I held my nerve. I had the confidence I could score, but a lot of people try to change my mind.
Just a quick one. They're planning to change the rules, aren't they? Goalkeepers can do even less now because of what Emi Martinez did in the World Cup. Sorry to bring up bad memories.
That's
but
all right.
they're changing the rules. They can't move on the line. They can't take the ball. They can't speak to the penalty taker. Is it going to make it easier for players to take penalties, do you think, because of this? I know, I think it was your new national team goalkeeper, Mike Mingan. He tweeted that in the future, goalkeepers will have to face penalties blindfolded, or with their back to goal, that sort of thing. Back to the penalty taker. Is it going to be easier?
I don't know, because I always hated, to take penalties. So I remember in 1998 during the World Cup, and especially against Italy, when there is the penalty at the end of the game. And I remember, the manager, Aimé Jacquet, he turned to the team and he said to the men, guys, who's going to take the penalty? And we were everyone like this, looking at the grass, looking at the air. And the youngest players in the team, Thierry Henry, David Trezeguet, they said, Gaffer, we want to take the penalty. So we were amazed because they were not touched by the pressure,
I'll tell you what amazes me, the fact that the penalty takers hadn't been decided pre-game. Personally, I think as a coach, if it's potentially going to go to a penalty shootout, you have decided who your penalty takers are.
So you take the
and if one of them isn't there, because you've got your first five, and then you've got your sixth, your seventh and the eighth, and if one of them, your first five, isn't there, well, the number 6 steps up.
But we had it during the World Cup 2014.
Yeah.
So we had the change of Tim de Croo, and then the next game against Argentina, the coach was thinking about doing the same. And then in the second half of the extra time, we had to change Robin van Persie. And suddenly everything changed. So we had Robin van Persie as the first penalty taker because he was our best penalty taker. And I was third, and everything was, noted.
In order.
And suddenly Ron Vlaar needs to take the first penalty because we want to keep everything else the same. And if you think, if I was the manager, I would say, go again. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, let's move on a bit. The equalising goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold playing another role here, but are you disappointed in Zinchenko? Because to be nutmegged, I think, is one of the most embarrassing things that can happen.
Bad defending from Zinchenko, and there is no cover as well in the penalty area. So at this moment, they were under so much pressure, the Arsenal defence, and they should have been more concentrated, helping each other,
Gabriel looks tired as well. He's not as aggressive.
But you can see the quality of Trent Alexander-Arnold on this action, when he plays with a team that dominates the opponents in their own half. And you can see the quality, the skills, technically. And he crossed the ball perfectly. But Zinchenko, just after this action, he went out,
they subbed him.
Substitute.
But what a great goal as well from Firmino.
Yes, the timing, the body,
timing, and he has to push the ball back, and that's very difficult.
Technically, it's very difficult.
It looks easy, but he controls so much, hanging in the air, pushing the ball a little bit back.
His body is quite the opposite. You can see that.
The timing is amazing.
Beautiful. You have to get proper abdominals, to get that.
A six-pack.
Yeah.
And it's great that Firmino, since he said he would leave Liverpool at the end of the season, he's still a very, very important player. So that says everything about him, I think.
Yeah, integral, absolutely integral to everything Klopp has achieved, all the success he's had. Firmino's been there since day one because he was bought by the previous manager, wasn't he? So, yeah. Can we talk about something else, which I found very strange? We should have discussed this at half-time. We didn't really, well, we ran out of time, to be honest. It's the referee, the linesman, on Robertson.
Yeah.
And he effectively
That
elbows.
reminds me something that happened last week in Argentina.
With the knee between
in a very
the legs,
sensitive area. But he effectively elbows Robertson in the throat.
Yeah, and he was really annoyed, Robertson. He wanted to have a talk with the referee. So I don't know what will happen after the game, but I'm pretty sure that a reporter is going to be.
Yeah, OK, tell you what, we'll look at it in just a moment because I really want to hear what Jurgen Klopp has to say about the game and also this incident. I believe he does talk about it. So once again, let's go back to Anfield to get some words from the Liverpool manager.
Jurgen, it was an extraordinary spectacle. What did you make of it and the way that the game unfolded?
Yeah, somehow a little bit typical for us this season, and I would say for Arsenal as well, that they have an open game, completely open, and they score with the first situation, and then not too long after they score a second one. Then that's like our problems were big enough, but we made them even bigger. But then reaction was obviously good. You are right, it was a spectacular game in the end. How we cannot win it, I don't know. In the end, with the chances we had, but in the end, it's a point and a good reaction on the two goals we conceded, and that's positive. But I'm caught in between, to be honest. It's like so I have no problem with drawing, and I think for Arsenal it's a super important point, because if you draw these kind of games, you have a good chance to become champion. That's how it is. You cannot always be super convincing. They were good, but I think they would agree they could or should have lost this game today, but they didn't, and so the point probably is for them better than for us, but it's one for us as well.
For you, what changed? What changed the balance from when they were 2-0 up?
Look, that's we had before moments. We had before chances, situations where we came through, where we just didn't finish the situations off. Again, slightly typical, because you would say they are flying, so they score with the first. It was like, don't even know now if it's an own goal or Martinelli touched the last moment or whatever. But it's first we slide or slip on the side, and then they get inside and twice rebound. Blah blah blah. Yeah, the goal we scored obviously helped massively. So we were in half-time and know, okay, this game is not over. Maybe it didn't even really start. So for us, at least, we can now really put an extra shift in. It's what we did. Anfield was there. It was a sensational atmosphere. Then we missed a penalty in a good moment to get the equaliser. Much more time than after our actual equaliser. And even now that we had chances. So it was, I think it was a moment where we could say, if we say hypothetical, but a good chance to turn the game. But that's football, it's life, that can happen. And so we just kept going, and we were much higher in the last line, which is super important. I know people would say, oh, yeah, but the ball's in behind, yes. But we only can put pressure on the guy on the ball when we are generally more compact, means when we are closer to the situation. If the first line is not there because the last line is too deep and the midfield is too deep, then they chip the balls anyway there, because we cannot wait at their own box. So in the moment when we did that better, when the ball's in behind our fullbacks, which we knew that it will happen, but that had to be sorted by Ibu and Virgil in these moments, and more we did that, and all of a sudden we were in charge in a wild game. We were not always in charge, but we had much more moments then, put them massively under pressure, and in the end we deserved at least the point.
How much was the fact that you didn't take all 3 points down to Aaron Ramsdale? He was named the player of the match.
Yeah, okay, that one save, I think especially from Mo, that was exceptional. I think if Ibu uses his head, then the ball goes under the crossbar. So then it's a goal that he cannot be there. But the way maybe Ibu slipped, I have to watch it again. But he had the chance, was just there. So, but yes, he was exceptional.
Today was almost a thumbnail sketch. You saw some of the things you've not been so well this season. And you also saw some of the very best of your side today.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's again, I said last week after the Chelsea game, it was a step in the right direction. It's the next step, definitely. So, but now we have a lot of time to prepare the Leeds game, and that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do, and we'll put all the effort and all the passion already in the training sessions, and we make sure we are ready.
Lastly, a highly unusual incident. The PGMO have said that they are going to be reviewing the footage. Andy Robertson claimed that he was struck by the linesman at half-time. What do you know about it, and what can you tell us?
Nothing. I know that it obviously happened, but I didn't watch it because in these situations, if it happened, then if Robo says it, then it happened. But then the pictures speak probably for themselves. So I have nothing else to say about it.
Thanks, Jurgen.
You're welcome.
Many thanks.